Political parties in the country will now have to readjust their budget for the financial year 2022-23, according to Registrar of Political Parties Ann Nderito. Speaking in Machakos after political parties stakeholders meeting, Miss Ann confirmed the slash of 590 million in the new budget adjustment affecting government offices in the country. According to Miss Ann, political parties' initial funding budget in this financial year was 1.4 billion and political parties had already received 726 million out of the total 884,354 million new budget. However, according to the Register of Political Parties, the second half of the financial year political parties will receive only 140 million. Out of the 90 registered political parties in the country, only 48 qualify for funding, with 39 having applied for the funds, 2 parties waiting disbursement, 4 to apply afresh, while 3 parties have not bothered to apply. As the country continued to witness political unrest, Ms. Nderito urged political parties to cushion their members not to engage in law-breaking activities and have political tolerance.
That if a party significant changes their members, for example, you have changed more than half of your party members and appointed others on interim capacity, we do not expect that those members will remain in interim capacities for long, forever. We expect that the party shall call a meeting to ratify the decisions. In some parties, they must call an NGC, a National Governing Council. In other parties, it's an NDC, a National Delegate Council. So depending on the constitution of the party should be able to ratify and conduct either elections and of the parties, of the institution, so that the party have members who have been put in office legally according to the party constitution. So it's not a question of registration, it's a question of following the party process and procedures, because we are not going to expect that the interim officials remain interim for the longest time without a limit. We have to ensure compliance that the parties, the officials that have been brought on board are ratified through a process that is captured in the party constitution. It's the question of interim that we are saying should be ratified to become real officials, not interim for all the period.
What would happen in the event that a certain...
Every constitution of a political party provides the timelines, it provides how certain changes will be made, and their provisions. First of all, if a party is in breach of the Political Parties Act, the first thing is to give a warning to the political party, about either verbal, we go to written warning, after warning we move to the next level. A party can also be suspended until it complies with the provision of the law. A party can also be told to show cause why it cannot be registered. And finally, we start the process of deregistration if a party does not completely comply. There are so many stages to that. Once the party then achieves that, then we stop there at whatever time or at whatever sanction level we have reached. Then the party then complies. We then stop at that particular time. If the party does not comply, then we continue until you comply. If you don't comply, then we take the highest sanction, which is suspension and deregistration of that political party. And it is important for you to note in the last electoral cycle, we deregistered about 3 political parties and suspended about 8, and the 8, out of the 8, 3, out of the 8, majority of them complied and then they were returned, but 3 went to the level of deregistration. Yeah, so their mechanism, and we move step by step as provided by the law. I think once they follow the law, then we have no objection. Yeah, the issue is whether they follow the law. How they enter and how they leave a coalition must be legal, and it must follow the provisions of the Political Parties Act. Yeah, and finally, supplementary one budget effected budget cuts across institutions and across departments of government in regards to the budgets, and the Office of Registrar was also affected, and so was the Political Parties Fund. The Political Parties Fund at the beginning of the financial year was 1.4 billion. During the supplementary 2, The supplementary one budget, the budget cut that has been effected is about 590 million, bringing the budget a bit low. To answer your question whether the money is enough, when there are budget cuts, what is required is the affected departments and institutions need to reorganize budgets so that they fit within that budget. I can say that money has never been enough because every year we operate under a constrained resource envelope because the needs of our nations are more than the resources. So what I request is the political parties to reorganize their budgets and especially the ones that are receiving funds to reorganize their budgets and try to work within that budget and also look for other sources of money because a political party has the capacity to mobilize for resources and make sure that they are able to get their resources to be able to run their affairs. So a political party should be able to also mobilize resources from other sources also. Yeah. I want to say and I want to call again for political tolerance in this country, especially for different opinions, and also protection of basic human rights on part of the political parties. I was telling political parties today that one of the roles of political parties is national unity, promotion of national unity and promotion of rights. While it is the right of people to pocket as provided in the Constitution, the same rights are not absolute. They should actually be accompanied by the responsibilities of the leaders to also protect human rights and protect the people who are actually either demonstrating or receiving that kind of situation. So we call for political tolerance and responsible speech on part of all political leaders. Thank you very much.
590 million 646,000. So we have received a budget cut in the last supplementary of 590,646,000. This means that the current allocation for this financial year then was cut down to 884,354,000 shillings. So we are going to reorganize the remaining amount, which is a total of around 146 million. That is what is remaining after the last disbursement of about 700 million. So the money remaining for this financial year is around 146 million. That says that we are going to reorganize the remaining money based on two parameters. One, based on the budget cut, and two, based on the 5 wards. You remember the letter we gave you, those parties that are funded? There were 5 wards that were not held, elections were not held. On the 8th, they were postponed. So they were held later. IBC gave us that data, and that is the data that we shall use also to reorganize. Who won there is likely to then affect the distribution as we had originally distributed. So the distribution of the remaining funds will be based on those two parameters. Because first and second quarter was already taken care of. We are not the only people. Not only political parties have been affected. Even the office of registrar has been affected by the budget cut. The political parties liaison committee also have been affected by the budget cut. Other government departments have also been affected by the budget cut. So we are not the only one. And this is our country. When austerity measures come, they affect everybody. They don't affect only one sector, so they affect everybody. As we continue to look at the growth of our economy.
I'm Justice Juma, Party Leader, Justice and Freedom Party, and with fellow party leaders of PPLC membership, we are here in Machakos, deliberating on the future of democracy, and more so hosted by Registrar of Political Parties, where we are reviewing our laws regarding compliance and also suggesting amendments or proposals that can enable and support political parties to be well established. And in the view of that, you're all aware of the occurrences that are happening in our nation today. We are in a situation where fellow political parties are having serious contest regarding their concerns on electoral process, and more so the last election, which some feel that a number of issues have not been addressed, and as a result, they are picking up on their right to picket, which actually is rightfully provided for in the Constitution. And as political parties, we would like to urge and advise all concerned parties, and that is our major clarion call today, to adhere by the laid down laws, and more so the government, even in terms of where they're enforcing the picketing laws. They should be the sole examples. They should lead by example in following the law, because the moment the government breaks the law, then they attract or invite the populace to also do the same, and as a result, we will be ending up with anarchy. And all of you who are present in this country, I'm sure by now you can attest to the marauding behaviors that actually resemble anarchy. And this is not the country we are longing to have, or those are not the desires that this country should be treated to. And as fellow leaders, we are not sitting back and taking this thing lying down. We want to call all of them to be fully responsible, and responsible to live by the political parties' act and their constitution, and more so their code of conduct, which mandate them to promote peace at any given point, and actually states that is an offense to promote violence in any democratic process. So our concern and our clarion calls lies with the citizen. And let the citizen's interest be at the center even as we pursue our political interest. And we charge all the relevant authorities, and more so the police, that we must be law-abiding. The moment you go against the law or violate the laid-down procedures, then we will turn this country into what we do not desire. So as political parties collectively, we all agree that we are going to stand by the law and support all the calls to enhance peace in this country and make sure that we have civility.
Is Machanja Eric, Organizing Secretary, United Democratic Party, and a proud member of PPLC. We are here in Machakos. We've just received verbal news that the political parties fund has been slashed by 592 million. This message has just been relayed to us by the registrar a few minutes ago, and we were hoping that this is the government, as promised in their manifesto, that is going to support political parties, and what we are seeing is actually the opposite. So as parties, we are opposed to any of those cuts touching on PPF, because the statutory requirement of PPF is supposed to be 0.3% of the national revenue, and we were hoping, as President Ruto had promised, that is going to achieve this requirement. So as parties, we are collectively opposed to those budget cuts, and we are soon demanding the written communication from Treasury, and we will take action to sort that issue. Thank you.